Stay consistent, keep it simple, get some good shoes, use your grip on everything you can, and stay with it. I promise you, it'll pay off. What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well today. We're going to talk weight training, and over the years, I've learned a lot of things of what to do, what not to do. So we're going to cover some main topics. First off, weight training is incredibly important for men and women, and we think that it's going to cause arthritis, and the guy that's got, his high school football trophy with his beer gut telling you about how weight training leads to arthritis is incorrect. It's actually a way to prevent arthritis, but that's a video for another time. The top things that I'm going to say is, one, weight training is needed for men and women, especially women, because they're more prone to osteoporosis, especially after menopause, because they're reducing the amount of bone density they have via the loss of estrogen. I made a video about that, but how it correlates. But one of the best ways you can combat that is through resistance training by building bone density back by mechanical tension that's put on the bone. In any case, the top advice I can give for weight training is keep it simple. Man, we get into the mental masturbation of all the perfect things and all the programs that you have to do. Like, you don't need to be doing some kneeling ipsilateral cable row with 70% reps. Just do a dumbbell row. Something that you can understand that isn't causing you to look up every single workout while you're going through your routine. Keep it simple. Stick to the foundational stuff. Stop diving into the scientific ethics of weight training. Just pick up something that's going to excite the muscle group that you want. Right up there would be consistency. In order to get muscle, you need to build a foundation. Just like if you want to get good at running, especially if you're heavier, I found that I had to build a phenomenal foundation, and then I could increase my miles and speed after that. It's the same with weight training. Build an awesome foundation. Like, find a program that's very simple that you can stick to a minimum like 45 days, and record stuff so that you know how your body reacts and how much you are increasing. Consistency is going to bring the most result. It doesn't matter if you're on an extreme amount of anabolic steroids and you have zero foundation. You see this with all these like call out videos. People that get injured or come off their steroid cycle then shrink into nothingness because they haven't built a good foundation. Or there's people out there that take a bunch of anabolics or all these things and they don't even stay consistent. Therefore, they don't even have any sort of impressive physique, which in any case, if you're getting on steroids, weight training should be for the benefits of health, not just for the ego. And of course, a little bit of your confidence building. Like, that's great. You want that. That's not a bad thing. Bottom line, stay consistent and build a foundation. Thirdly, and I learned this from this guy that was just an absolute tank, looks like he's got the neck of a rhinoceros and built like a bowling ball, over 6 feet. And he said, grip every freaking weight like you're trying to crush it. So with that advice, every time I pick up a weight, I take my crusty little banana peeler here and I grip every handle and every weight like I am Ace Ventura trying to save his little raccoon buddy. Not only does it improve the amount of weight you're going to lift, which has backed research, you're going to increase the amount of excitatory motor neurons in order to lift more, and you're going to get some beefy Rich Piana forearms. If you don't know who Rich Piana is, that's actually task number 1. Rest in peace, good man, an influencer before influencer was a thing, talked real, but the guy was great at just calling out nonsense, and he had a good method of, it's all about mentality if you want something, which is cool. It's refreshing because today everyone's just trying to sell something. Anyways, grip those weights like you're falling off a cliff. Fourth, your shoes. The shoes matter for sure. You don't need these crazy $300 weight training shoes that are held at the Olympics, and Rogue has some from the CrossFit Games, and Hyrox has their. Just get some regular old minimalist shoes. It doesn't have to be, but think of like a Chuck Taylor. There's not a lot of cushion on the sole of the shoe. They're fairly minimalist, and there isn't a lot going on. The reason is because when you wear a freaking running shoe like a Hoka, that's like standing on top of a marshmallow. Every time you squat, every time you deadlift, leading to potential injury, and you're going to increase the likelihood of making your knees and lower back unstable by you're sitting on this Bosu ball that is a running shoe. Therefore, your knees just like doing this, trying to hang on for dear life. Same with the lower back. So I would highly recommend, and I've done this for years and years and years. You get this from like the Arnold days of guys training barefoot. But a minimalist shoe, you can get one off Amazon for like $30 and just wear those to the gym. Stop wearing freaking running shoes. Don't look like a noob wearing running shoes to the gym. And supplements. I know so many people that before they even figured out a workout program, went to the gym for consistent amount of days and built any muscle, they dropped $200, $300 on supplements because people have this weird thing that they think supplements is what gets them big. That is incorrect. Supplements were originally invented to supplement food. So when a person was going to do a Beachbody competition and they had to reduce their calorie intake to insanely small amounts in order to remain lean for stage, they supplemented protein so they could maintain the amounts of protein that they intake without any other calorie intake like fats or carbs. Supplementation is not the first line for gaining muscle. It's like you have to like earn your right to use them, in my opinion. And I only say that because I've spent hundreds, thousands of dollars on supplements and trying whey protein, casein protein, whatever the GNC salesman was like selling me that day with my $200 E2 paycheck. There's a place for supplements, but starting with them is not the place. So I don't say that as you haven't earned your right. I'm just saying that to change your perspective of you don't need them. Don't start with supplements. Start with a program that you can stick to. I will say too, I prefer dumbbells over barbell. Barbell locks you into a certain plane and therefore you have to move in a certain range of motion. And again, the EMG research shows that your muscle activation is greater with a dumbbell. Not only that, you're including more stabilizer muscles when you use a dumbbell, which is going to give you better functionality and prevent more injury. And you're not locked into this one motion that's going to eventually just give you terrible shoulder impingement. You can also get a further stretch when you're using dumbbells and go into more range of motion that's more conducive to how our anatomy lines up. And also, I tore my pec on doing barbell bench press. I'm never going to do it again. Not interested. And the most newbie question is, how much do you bench? You shouldn't care what you can bench if you feel good and you have good muscle development. Like, doesn't matter if you can bench 405. And that's some of the simpler things that people don't consider, but I would highly suggest, because once you start making progress, it doesn't take that long. It's a few weeks of staying consistent. It's just like investing into the stock market or sticking to a nutrition plan where you're losing weight. Like, you will see results. And especially if you're new to weight training or fairly new, you're going to see massive results very early on. And you don't have to be sore after every workout. That's not how it works. Think of weight training essentially like a callus on your hand. Mechanical transduction is a similar concept of when you put something through stress, it needs to grow. And that's essentially what muscle growth is. The body realizes, like, I need to be able to pick this up. Therefore, I'm going to tell these muscles to grow. I'm going to create more muscle nuclei and increase the size of the muscle belly. Therefore, I'm going to have more potential muscle. Just stay consistent. And I would suggest starting out recording the weights so that you have something to base everything off of and know that you're progressing, because that's exciting as well. You'll probably see a progress in weights before you see a progress in your physique, because if you're looking at yourself every day, you're going to more likely than not miss the results. But if you take a picture of yourself like every 5 days and look back over the course of 6 weeks, you're gonna be like, holy crap. And then you're going to look at your lifting journal and go, oh wow, I've increased 20% on my lifts. That's incredible. That's exciting. It takes time, just like a YouTube channel or a business or anything else. Just stay with it. You will do it. With that, nutrition plays a huge role too. A discussion for another time, but stay consistent, keep it simple, get some good shoes, use your grip on everything you can, and stay with it. I promise you, it'll pay off. Like, subscribe, and share.